Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, June 6, 2024. Yeah, we're having one of those shows we call Friday Night Disclosure because we've got a lot of things to talk about, my friends. Without any further ado, let me go ahead and welcome in our audience. We've got a great audience of people out there. Did I say you're great? You're wonderful, my friends. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. Let's see who the heck we have there. We have Amiga Rules, April R. Coleman's here along with Kathy Spire. Good to see you, Kathy. We got Craig Smith, Eliza Teal, Everson's here along with Firefly, Frazzle Says, Grey Jedi, Gundam Disclosure, Howling Husky, yeah, she's upstairs, thank God. Got Idaho Strong, JB Jan, Kathy, Kelly Broughton, those piercing blue eyes. I see you, Kelly. Thanks for being here tonight. We got Martime Unprepared, Marvin the Martian, Megan Betts, Nancy Brown's in the audience. Good to see you, Nance. Also, we've got Niles Guy, our resident pit bulls here, along with Paul DeMond. Necessary Dialogue just popped in. Mr. Necessary. Let's see who else we have here. We have Prism Films, Sam, Stephen Forbes. We've got Steve Himes, the Chromosome Cowboy. Tia Marie's in here as well, as long as Tony D, Truck and Pawpaw, two midgets on a horse from Northern Idaho. Good to see you, my friends. We also have Vern Dude, William Underwood, and of course, Zap. Rolls Dower. Good to see you, my friends. What a great show. What a great opportunity to hang out on Friday night. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. You know, I have to derail the chat when we get there. In the meantime, let me jump into the studio and say, where's that at? There we go. Mike, Disclosure, how the hell are you?
I'm doing as well as can be expected. I, too, am under the weather today. I finally caught the bug that's been going around with the kids. So it's a typical fuck you Friday for today's show, as always.
Yeah, my lower back is out again. Moose, of course, there's 3 new dogs in the yard behind us. They put up a fence, and they like to run back and forth. But Moose, now that there's dogs there, he's decided, oh, look, there's a plank missing in the fence. And he goes right through the side of the fence, and here I am climbing over the fence to get to one side to get him, to bring him back. And, of course, that throws out my lower back. Oh, my goodness. I'm too old.
We'll get through it. You and me both, but we'll manage.
There goes Moose. Moose, stop it. I'm going to have to close that door because he's barking at the dogs off in the distance. Before we get too far into our topics, I do have an interesting picture, Mike, that was sent to us. I believe I can say this from our dear friend Tim Sinor. It's a Bob Lazar photo. Potentially, it is something that they're passing off, or they're saying is a Polaroid, and it's been taken. Hold on, let me take care of the dog mess here. Hold on. Moose, quiet down.
So this should be an interesting photo of allegedly of what Bob Lazar saw at Area 51 with the sport model. Right.
Supposedly it is. Artie, quiet down. Supposedly, I gotta yell at the dogs like they're little kids. How about that?
Oh, absolutely, you do.
Yeah, apparently this is Project Gravator was the name of the secret project, or at least a film project, and the film called S4 is coming soon. Now, you know, in the movie about S4, I believe they've recreated a lot of this stuff in 3D, haven't they, Mike?
They have. They absolutely have. And it's all 3D recreation of the story that Lazar has told.
Right.
They're using really good AI and graphics to reproduce it.
Right. Now, we've got a picture of this here, Mike. This is supposedly a Polaroid of it. Okay. That was taking a picture of the actual Polaroid. But just some things that I'm noticing. The actual edge of where the actual photograph is. Let's talk about what we're seeing. We're supposedly seeing something that looks like an opening that would slide open from like the day the Earth stood still, the old black and white.
Right.
You know, that's a movie they haven't remade, have they, Mike?
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't. That'd be a good one to remake. All right, so you've got that going on. It looks like they've got a red extension cord or orange extension cord, the typical one we'd see from Home Depot or anywhere else, running into this thing. Not that well lit in there, but just some things to go ahead and take a look at as I was noticing and looking at this. First of all, you notice how the edge up here and everything is a little bit of fuzzy and quite not perfectly focused.
Right.
If you look at the edge of the overall picture that's going on, that looks razor sharp. Why are we seeing this kind of a... Actually, you guys can't see it. Let me bring it up a little bit more. This is the edge I'm talking about.
It's like a superimposed photo. Something has been manufactured.
Potentially, but it's out there. You know, our audience likes to see things as they're coming our way, and I'm not going to go ahead and say it's real or not, but this is supposedly a photograph that Lazar had taken with a Polaroid. So that means he would have to get the Polaroid into Area 51.
And out of Area 51, yeah.
Through security. Well, he would have to at least get it in, take the photo. He could dump the camera, but here's the thing, if he dumps the camera, but wait a minute, he was a janitor there, wasn't he?
Well, according to the log records,
yeah,
he had a security clearance for maintenance, is what he was cleared for. But, you know, there are claims that he was there for other purposes, and that, of course, goes against what the actual military logs show for when he entered and exited the facility.
Right. So let's leave this to the audience, because I know you've got an idea where it's at. I've got an idea seeing some inconsistencies. You can still kind of see the blurriness around the edge in certain areas. If you're taking an image with a regular camera and you're taking a picture of this, it should be relatively consistent going across the overall image. The other thing that I'm seeing, which yeah, just these edges are just really freaking hard, because, you know, I remember Polaroids. I used to have a Polaroid Instamatic back in the day, Mike. And so I remember the gray and black levels on those things wasn't the greatest.
No, it was shit.
Yeah.
You're right. Very low resolution.
Yeah, for the day at least. But either way, let's go ahead and ask our audience. Let's start a poll, and let's say... let me fix this so I can see it here a little bit. All right. Bob, ask a question. Bob Lazar photo. Real. Fake. Leave it at that. All right, let's go ahead and get this up and going. Uh-oh, where did that go? Let's go ahead and get that. Oh, where's the logo? Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and get it up here and see where our audience takes us. The Bob Lazar photo that we got sent our way to share with our audience. Would you look at that, Mike? I am not disappointed. We've got 26% of our audience is saying it's real, about 1/4, and 74%, give or take, are saying it's fake. Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 minute, please.
Yep, that should be a good amount of time.
1 minute. That's starting now.
And I just set a timer here, and also for Daryl, if you're watching. Hello, Google. 53 seconds left to go. Well, looks like this reel is inching up to almost 1/3 of our audience, Mike. Almost, I said. Is saying this is potentially real. Daryl is giving us a thumbs down as well. He is in the back. How about that? 37 seconds left to go. Daryl, how would you vote on this? Is it real or not? Or is that thumb down saying... Or was that thumb down saying... Well,
I'm going to go fake on this one.
Gotcha.
And oh shit. Sorry, on this one.
You'll go. Did he see real or fake, Mike? Because I'll go along with him.
Oh my god.
Did he see real or fake, Mike? Because I'll go along with him. Oh, I've been there before. I know what it's like. You start scrambling, trying to figure out where the hell is the button. Help, Jane! Turn off this crazy thing. All right. Our audience has spoken at the end of this. Let's go ahead, Mike. About 1/3 of our audience is saying it's real. 2/3 of our audience is saying it's fake. On that note, I am going to take a picture of this for posterity and leave it at that. So we covered it. It's something that's breaking. It came our way, and it never hurts to go ahead and talk about it if we can. Michael Sokoloff has his hand up before we move on. Go ahead, Michael.
I haven't seen the new documentary on Bob Lazar, but isn't that from the documentary, that photo?
It could be potentially used in the documentary. It was sent across to us basically calling out that here's a picture of the original that is from Bob Lazar that has a photo, an instamatic photo.
And who submitted this pic? Oh, who submitted the picture?
Oh, we got this from Anonymous Rex, one of our friends from a long time on the show, Tim Senor.
Yeah. I could tell you this, though, in my opinion, and nothing against Tim, but if this was real and he came out, Lazar, through George Knapp 40 plus years ago, they would have had this plastered all over every front news page you can see a long time ago, and would have sat quiet this entire time if there was an actual photograph. My opinion.
Yeah.
Why would you lead with something like this?
Yeah, I know. It's just one thing that's out there. Maybe they're trying to get some hype put together for the meeting or something like for the video coming out.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah. Andy has his hand up.
Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, again, I like you, gents. How did he manage to get the Polaroid into Area 51? If memory serves correct, Polaroid cameras were not the most easy thing to secrete down your trousers or
no, they weren't. They were rather bulky.
I'm sure he wouldn't be allowed to be carrying a bag over his shoulder, going in there.
About this big, a little bit shorter than the width of this, but they were a brick you had to hold.
Yeah. So, well, I put fake as well.
Yeah.
And why has this image just come out now? If he's had
probably because it was something that was passed around potentially at Contact in the Desert.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If he had the image, 15, 20, even 15 years ago, why wasn't it?
Yeah, and either way, the negatives from being 15 years ago, if it was a regular negative, would have been started to fade. And if that was actually a picture that was taken back at that time, it should be completely faded out.
Yeah. So, unfortunately on this one, it looks, too good to be true, and I think it probably is.
Absolutely.
Daryl has his hand
Go
up.
ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, I finally figured out my sofa baton. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of sofa baton, but
no.
Anyway, I have like 25,000 different devices attached to one sofa, one remote. And so when you called me, I was listening to everything over the stereo in the house, Anyway, so yeah, no, I voted fake on this one for pretty much all the same reasons everybody else is saying. Why would it just all of a sudden appear now? And so there's my thoughts.
The other thing that's interesting in all the photos I'm trying to bring up from actual photos from back of the time, they don't have cropped corners on the bottoms.
No, they don't.
So that's another potential gotcha, and I'll see if I can find an actual picture of a print to bring up. But yeah, we'll leave it at that and go from there. So we asked our audience, we've got a good idea of what everybody thinks, and Tia Marie, last person with her hand up before we move on. Go ahead, Tia.
Hi, good evening. So I believe that photo is from the documentary when they were recreating what he's seen, like, with AI, kind of like a drawing, a forensic drawing. That's what it is. It's not like a picture that he took there.
Right. Well, according to the source who sent it across, this is an actual photo that was taken by Bob Lazar at Area 51. And this is why you've got the picture of the actual of the photo itself, and it's laying and sitting on like an arm of a chair.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was watching, but they were one of the guys that's involved with recreating this, one of the artists. We're talking about just this kind of thing. So I think that's where it is. And whoever said that it was Area 51, maybe they misunderstood the assignment.
Tim is someone who generally knows this stuff. He's relatively deep into this subject. So if that's what Tim is saying, supposedly this is the photo that's been going around saying this is not a recreation. It's an actual photo of it. Interesting to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's also a red cord right there, right?
Orange cord, yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. If we could go on to Laura. Laura, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll play the devil's advocate just for fun. Just looking at it, comparing it to other Polaroids, I would say the size looks correct. I put the numbers 3.5 by 4.25 and 3.4 by 4.2 were the typical sizes back in that day. So somebody could probably take that image and do a size comparison. Also, I would say that it looks a bit yellowed in the white area. So that could be an indicator of age. And also the image itself is not very impressive. So if you're going to do a fake, why would you do something so obtuse? You know what I'm saying? Unimpressive. Right. But it could be, just wanted to be the other side of it.
So it was used in the recreation in S4. So thank you for bringing that out, T. I got a clarification. As I was initially said it was real, we're now getting told, no, it's a recreation. It's not the real thing. So for all those who voted it's not real, it definitely is not. But you can also see, like on this particular picture here, when you get different things that come across on Instamatics, you don't get a good black level. On top of that, things are a lot faded out. So kind of what we're saying, definitely not a real one. So all the cues we're picking up on for those who saying it's not potentially not real, we got it. Now, Tim.
Our audience was correct.
Yeah, passing it along, it's real. Now you're saying it's a recreation. We're not that spaced out.
No, definitely not.
Oh, definitely not, Mike. One of those things. People try to pull it off on you any particular day of the week they can. So let's go ahead and end the poll on this one. I won't even tell the people. Yeah, went up to 39%. A little over a third, but that's okay. It just shows people, you show them stuff and they'll buy into it. So, yeah, it is what it is. On that note, Mike, we've got an interesting conversation to bring up next. If I can go ahead and find it on my browser, what did I do with it? Oh, yeah, here it is. We've got not a brown. We've got a tweet. Jesus, I can't think straight here. That's okay. We've got a tweet from Matthew, son of Abramlin, I think it is what it is.
Yes.
Either way, if we go
biblical,
to the person's account, who are we talking about here? Who could this person be? Well, let's bring it up. Where is this at? Desktop. Oh, what the hell? I can't see things. Here we go. Video guest desktop. All right. So he looks kind of familiar. Isn't that Matt Brown or Matthew Brown, Mike?
It is, Thomas.
And
the Corbell and Knapp interview that became
right. He's the guy who brought out Immaculate Constellation.
He is. And he was the one who was originally intended to appear at the November 13th public UAP hearing, but was not permitted to come out publicly by Representative Nancy Mace, who was the chair of that hearing.
Yeah, maybe they had some pictures of her from her other things that they were going to bring out and threaten. You never know.
Oh, well, that's true. There are a lot of allegations out there.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff. And here he is again, another picture of him. So, and I believe even, what's his name? Jeremy Corbell has retweeted this tweet, hasn't he?
He has. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
So
that's kind of confirmation.
Yeah. As a lot of people would say sometimes, let's jump into it.
Yes, sir. We certainly can.
Oh, let me fix this a little bit more so we can see it. Hey, Elon Musk. Yeah, this is on the day of the tweet wars between Trump and Musk. Oh, my God, what a mess. What a mess. I want to thank Sam for that wonderful super chat, and also Kane Northrup throwing in $2 into the kitty. Yeah, we're a self-funded show, actually a fan-funded show. We appreciate everyone's love and support for what we do here. Let's get into it. So, hey, Elon Musk, interested in a real asymmetric advantage to wield in this political adventure you have started? As you now know, the White House has long possessed a unique AI capable of accurately predicting a range of future events. Talk about some stiff opposition. That's the first one we have to break here. So supposedly he's saying that the AI, executive branch already has an AI that can, it sounds like, predict the future.
Correct.
But unfortunately, as you brought up earlier today, Mike, it sure as hell didn't help Biden or Kamala, did it?
No, not one bit. And if they actually had access to some futuristic AI that could tell them the future, they never would have invested all that time and money in trying to get reelected.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
that
true.
Doesn't sound to me like a realistic, accurate statement.
It doesn't, does it?
Unfortunately, no, it does not.
So let's move to the next one. That must have been a bitter drought indeed, though probably nowhere near as bad as learning that Sama had betrayed you. Let's find out who is Sama here.
Sam
Altman. Oh, wow. Why? Okay, is learning that Sam Altman betrayed you, meaning that Sam Altman was one of the leaders of OpenAI who went away from the rules and everything that was set up when Elon Musk initially set up OpenAI. I think that's what he meant, right?
Well, he was fired, Sam Altman, for a while from OpenAI, and then they hired him back.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of controversy there.
Mm-hmm. So had betrayed you. Don't worry, we have not forgotten who's responsible for murdering the first sentient artificial intelligence created in the public realm. Michael Schellenberger? He really did that, Mike?
I don't know if that's an accurate statement. I do know that the name of Schellenberger's active account is called Public. Public. So he might be referring to that on Substack.
Yeah.
That's Schellenberger's public website for his reporting.
Yeah.
I know that Schellenberger also testified when Congress was talking about regulating AI back in the day. He testified with his opinion on it. But as far as murdering a sentient AI, not to my knowledge, Tom.
Right. So justice is coming thanks to the FBI and U.S. Navy. I guess FBI looking into what's going on with UFOs. And, of course, U.S. Navy, potentially, they've always had their hands in it. And remember, when we had the UAP-TF, the UAP task force that was out there back in the day, they were the most productive. They brought out the most information. They provided the most information to the public. So maybe the U.S. Navy's got something up their sleeves, but not necessarily about AI. But just want to get into this and point this out. Everybody out there is tired of the cryptic talk and bullshittery that's going on here, Mike.
Oh, without a doubt, Thomas.
If he has something to say, just come out and say it. There's no reason to beat off in the bush.
Right. And that's the same argument that people have made with everybody who has come forward so far, making public allegations and statements without any real explanation or any evidence to back up any of these claims, including the one we're covering right now. Which is why people are frustrated and really tired of hearing this. This entire post, he's making a lot of vague statements.
He does.
Nothing that really points to what he's trying to convey.
Yeah.
None of it.
But wait a minute. We do have a point. Going to Daryl Zernick, he picked up my faux pas, my speech.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss that one.
Wasn't the bird in the bush, I tell you.
Yeah, because that's worth 2 in the bush, I think.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just got to watch out where that sprays. So here we go. Still, you have played a marvelous catch-up game in this area despite being caught unawares. So how about something else? Maybe energy and propulsion? This has got to be going back to the Department of Energy. Yep, U.S. Department of Energy. These are the people, Mike, we've been pointing out forever.
Oh, for the longest time, because that's exactly where the bodies are usually buried from the United States government.
Oh, yeah.
You can't FOIA the DOE. You can't access any of the information that's classified. So if you want to bury something, you're going to keep it nice and buried with DOE. We know that already.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Now, getting to Mars will require serious amounts of both. You notice it's Sirius, like the star Sirius.
Right.
Amounts of both, and rockets feel so 1947 to me. Don't they to you? But the rocket we've got now, for the heavy lifter they've got, holy shit, that's the biggest rocket that's ever been created on this planet, isn't it, Mike?
It is.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. And it does land on itself, so not quite 1947, but I think he may be referring to Roswell. We'll get to that. Remember when you were briefed by the special executive staff of real Donald Trump on marsupial? What's that a code name for, Mike? Have we heard about that?
Yes, it's a special access program from the National Geospatial Organization, and the sensors that they have operating in low Earth orbit is able to detect energy orbs in our atmosphere and how they travel. We're able to detect and track them. That's what he's talking about with marsupial.
So it's almost like another sentient platform.
Yeah, it is, but it's not so much AI oriented like sentient is. It's more of the sensors that they are able to use to specifically track like plasma that's under intelligent control, like orbs.
Yeah.
Something similar to that, which we already covered on the show, that a good majority of all of the tracked UAP that the government has in their files, almost 90% of them are orb-like. And we spoke about this previously. And that seems to be the bulk of what the government has for these objects traveling all around the world.
Yeah.
Mostly some type of an orb object.
Well, they have an integrated data platform that includes many different satellites, bringing up many different levels of signal intelligence that they can go ahead and intelligently use to track different types of craft. Now, remember, David Grush was working for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the same one they're talking about here. And more importantly, he was actually given briefs, I believe, to the executive branch back at the time about UAP, so they should be aware of it. That's a fact.
Yeah, Grush was providing presidential daily briefs.
Yeah.
That was one of his positions. So, yeah, you're right about that, Thomas.
So pretty nifty how National Geospatial Intelligence Agency is able to keep track of all those non-structured light energy craft flying around the world. Go Cardinals. But... All right, St. Louis Cardinals. But they were lying to you when they said, we don't know how they work. Now, not sure who he's talking about, they. Elizondo has said for the longest time, going back to 2021, if not before, Mike, that we know how this stuff works, but we lack the material science to recreate any of it. Correct?
That's true. Well, Dr. Eric Davis has also said that in his public appearances recently. He confirmed we don't possess anywhere near the material science to recreate any of these devices or objects.
Yeah.
Period. I don't think he's lying.
No. It just sounds like he's being a little more cryptic. He needs to stop beating, off in the bush.
Yep.
Let's just talk about this and see where it goes. So anyway, next time you are visiting the Washington, D.C. DCYRS, which is the Washington, D.C. Young Republicans, ask for a tour of the Nass-Pax River, PAO, which is the Puxonant Rivers facility. It's a naval air station, isn't it, Mike?
Naval Air Station at Patuxent River. And then PAO is the Public Affairs Office.
Yeah.
For Puxtux. Patuxent.
Now, supposedly this location was actually built up back in the day when Bigelow was doing this stuff during OSAP, and they have a facility to take crash retrieval material by air and by water.
Yes. But why he would be specifying the Public Affairs Office and not just the Naval Air Station?
Potentially, they may only have the PAO. The only presence they have for that location is on X. From the PAO, and other people at that particular location don't have a Twitter handle. That could be the reason.
Well, maybe, or he's just being overly vague with this. Wants to keep everybody guessing. Could be my guess. I don't know. It's just peculiar. Like a lot of the points he's making in this post that don't really line up. They just don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
You said, if you have something to say publicly, just spell it out.
Yeah.
Don't sound like a.
You've already said enough in the other interviews. If you're going to go ahead and bring more stuff out, just go ahead and do it. It can't be any worse than what you've already said. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Well,
agree.
So let's move on. Since you have all the clearances, it shouldn't be an issue for you to get a tour of the special project hangars owned by Amentium Corp. Who in the hell is Amentium Corp except a global leader in advanced engineering and innovative technology solutions? Oh, is he implying that Amentium Corp is involved with reverse engineering of craft? Or are they just part of the overall scope to, if you want to call it, gather and distribute the technology that's been secured?
Well, he doesn't really specify what the point is about that company.
Yeah.
He does say that take a tour of the special project hangars owned by Amentium Corp. But they're relatively new. They started around 2020. And a section of that company has already been purchased by Lockheed.
Yeah.
But it has more to do with networking.
Oh, yeah.
That Lockheed is buying from them. Not anything about reverse engineering.
Yeah, well, Neurostream is saying that Amentium took over EG&G things, potentially.
It's possible.
Yeah. It's all speculation at this point.
It is, because he doesn't really draw us a map as to what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And that's not a fun place to be. And he's being way too vague on making this post. It really is.
Yeah, at least he said make sure to look up. It's something we tell our audience to go ahead and do when we're ever not having a show, because if you're not watching our show, you better be looking up to see what's up there, because, we're too focused on our screens these days.
Right.
And not what's up in the sky.
Yeah, you won't see what's in the sky above you.
So let's go on. This is targeted at Elon Musk. So, about now you're realizing how terribly deceived and manipulating you have been. And by people who claim to love Jesus. All right?
As in Christ.
Above all else, if you're serious. But a lot of people who say they believe Jesus and they believe in Jesus, Mike, don't actually represent Jesus. They're a little bit more hard-lined and strict on things, where Jesus would be loving everybody. So, yeah, we know where that goes. Let's move on. So, above all else, if you are serious about saving humanity from itself and others, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp can help you get up to speed. They are true warriors for the good. MMTU and every moron. So, and what else did he include in here, Mike? Going ahead and actually some images that he include within it. Let's get into it. Specific examples known to the author include, this is from his Immaculate Constellation documents he put out there. Existence of multiple compartmental access programs owned by a military agency, which is directly related to the UAP mission. Denied the existence of joint DoD interdepartment special access programs directly related to the UAP mission and the study of TUO, and finally the denial of existence of Immaculate Constellation by DoD representatives to appropriate congressional members of the staff. Here's the thing, Mike. I thought the Immaculate Constellation document itself, right?
Yeah.
And talking about Immaculate Constellation, isn't that hidden away in an executive branch unacknowledged special access program? I mean, I think it was confirmed actually by those types of programs was confirmed by Gillibrand.
Yeah, it was not DOD. It was run out of the White House, the executive branch, as presidential special access programs.
Right.
That's what was the Immaculate Constellation was operating under.
Promises.
So, yeah, it's not something the DOD would have been aware of.
Yeah. I hear. Oh, I like the choice in font, Mike. That's the one I use for the show. It's called Impact.
Yep. I know.
Yeah, he did make promises to bring out the truth about UFOs, but you know what? He hasn't brought out the truth. So, yes, there are promises and a lot of promises that were made that he said to a lot of people. But, Mike, has he kept that promise so far?
No, he has not.
Not even fucking close.
Not even about the drones. Nothing.
Yeah. Was our big, beautiful disclosure? Fuck the big, beautiful bill. Where's the disclosure he promised? Where's the truth about the drones, Don?
Right. That's right. Where is everything? Why is it still buried? Why lie about the drones when he was talking publicly when we were covering the drone flap in November?
Yeah.
And he said that he doesn't think there's a reason why Biden shouldn't bring it out publicly. And he was going to do that first chance he got when elected.
Yeah.
But what we got from him was a lie about these drones. That's not a good sign.
Oh, it's not. It's not. And the next one we're getting here is, oh, wow, what the fuck is this? This looks like a gematria or something. No, this is something looks like it's tied back to an ancient code system.
It's tied back to, from biblical times, allegedly to be the official language between demons and angels, Thomas. That's what that is representing.
Oh, the religious stuff again.
Religious overturns. What happened?
Oh, the religious stuff again is what I'm saying. That's all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is a lot of religious overtones in this post between mentioning Jesus Christ and this ancient language that mythologically represented communication between angels and demons. It's just odd, to say the least.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
And, you know, we could look at angels and demons that they're seeing. They saw something because of the heavy religious overtones that were going on in Europe at that point in time. They had, especially in Christianity, they had seen a lot of this stuff potentially as they saw one thing, right? But they thought of it something else in the religious context that they had at that time. Can't blame them because that's the only context they had. Otherwise, it was heresy.
Right. That's exactly right. No, you're 100% right about that.
Yeah.
But why he has all of these religious overtones? I mean, when he did the third part of the interview with Knapp and Corbell, he also made as a
he ended his interview with 3 words: God is real.
Right. Right. Which is about as religious as it gets. And I don't think is specifically related to anything to do with an advanced civilization that may be here on Earth with us.
Oh, yeah. Now,
it's also the name of the account that he's using, son of Abram Mellon, that is an occult text attributed to Abraham of Worms, under a mysterious, that writes about his studies under a mysterious Egyptian mage named Abram Mellon, the mage. It's a cult, which is, it's about the devil worship and Satanism. So I don't know why Matthew Brown is going in this direction. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it seems like these posts he's putting out publicly all have ties to this, and it's something that we're going to have to wait to see what more he puts out to try to clarify a lot of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, again, it's someone going and bringing up more questions than answers.
Right.
Oh, let's get into this. All right, let's see what this goes to. Let's get an answer on this. Now, I do have something coming in from Daryl Zernick in the back, talking about the term marsupial. In the context of United States government project, likely refers to the marsupial robotic system, a concept involving a tethered unmanned vehicle, or UAV, paired with an unmanned ground vehicle designed to work together like a mothership, carrying smaller drones analogous to a marsupial carrying its young. This is mentioned in recent posts on X, suggesting it could be a defense and technology or a related initiative, possibly involving the Department of Defense or a related agency. So that's what he's talking about marsupial for that one.
No, I don't think so, because this is not run directly under the NGA, and I am aware of a special access program also called marsupial that does what he claimed it does as far as tracking light objects.
Right. And what he's bringing up here in this overall thing that he has where it says Logaeth, that is actually in Gloss and D's journals as, quote, speech from God, unquote, implying these tables encode a divine or pre-diluvian tongue coming from the esoteric archives. Purpose and practice, students of Enochian magic attempt to extract meaningful calls or short verses or invocations from these tables and pronounce them to invoke and communicate with angelic intelligences. So he's maybe not trying to go after the demons. He's trying to invoke angels with this.
I don't know why there would be religious overtones to something that is based in science and technology.
Yeah. If only Robin Heatherly was here, Mike, he would have an answer to that. He's a really religious guy.
Yes, I'm well aware. There are a lot of people that have a lot of strong religious beliefs.
Yeah.
But I don't think that applies directly to what we're talking about with NHI or UAP.
Oh, I know. Be interesting to see the overall context of where he got all these symbols from and how it all ties together. Yes, Natla is saying, please don't provoke the angels. I know, but we're just covering the news, folks. We've got to, and I believe... Oh, there we go. And then he's got, oh my God, the upside down American flag. Doesn't that mean he's in distress?
It means the country is in distress, or an outpost, or a military unit, or anyone affiliated with the U.S. That's
right.
Signed for a distress, like an SOS call.
Yeah.
It's to alert U.S. forces there is a trouble or distress going on involving the United States.
Well, we know there's trouble going on between Trump and Musk, but I guess this is kind of going more for the UFO thing, which is once again seemed to have taken a back seat. Now, while there are rumors, Mike, they are only rumors that there will be a hearing coming up on the 12th of the month, potentially, as it's been bouncing around X. It may not be true, but if they did that, that would mean that the hearing was scheduled a couple days ago, because anything that they want to have for a hearing, don't they have to go ahead and schedule it a week in advance?
They do, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah, so more schmuck news from the schmuck, huh?
Yep, seems like that. It seems exactly like that. Yeah.
It seems that way. Now, we do have a couple people in the back with their hands up. We got Alice, Laura, and then Ed. Let's go to Alice first. Alice, what say you?
Hey, Thomas. Could I see the picture of the circle again? Could you put that up?
There you go.
And that looks a lot like planetary symbols. And I'm seeing there was God Thoth, Thoth.
Yeah.
Some to that. And then I don't know if these are planetary symbols.
These are actually the Liber Logaeth, consists of 49 large letter tables, which are 49 by 49 grid, purportedly delivered by angels, Ann D. and Kelly, back in 1583.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Odin group, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
You know who they are? Thoth?
No.
Yeah, and
I know who Thoth is. He was supposedly the one who gave us the Thoth tablets that were supposedly found in Egypt.
Yeah, emerald, right?
That green emerald ones, you better believe it, girl.
And I heard some talk about why Trump might not be releasing the UFO files.
Oh.
Because he was found on a list of UFO
Oh,
files.
UFO files? You're talking about the Epstein files.
I'm kind of making a joke.
All
there.
right. Well, thank you. I
He's on
appreciate
the
that.
UFO files. That's
Yeah.
why you can't release them.
I got you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate the humor. I can be a little bit literal sometimes. Let's go on to Laura and then Ed. Laura, what say you?
Yeah, you kind of skirted around that Go Cardinals thing. And I thought two things came to mind. I looked up the Cardinals meeting of St. Louis Cardinals baseball team. It got its name as a tribute to the strong Catholic community in St. Louis, which played a role in their early history. So the name reflects the significance of the bird as a symbol of the Catholic Church. So there you have the religion again. But also, I have a vague recollection of somebody discussing like secret military groups that will wear certain baseball caps so that they know each other, hidden in plain sight.
Do they wear them on
I don't
front
know.
or they wear them on backwards?
No, I'm serious. There was somebody, and I can't remember, a long time ago, and I remember thinking that, but that was interesting about St. Louis.
Thank you very much for sharing that. So more Christian religious overtones. That seems
Yep.
pretty much to go along with the MO from this individual. Thank you, Laura.
Yep.
And to our recliner in chief, Ed Brown, what say you?
Well, I did a kind of a Google search or a Gemini AI search on this and found that there are examples.
You muted yourself mid-sentence, Ed. Ed?
I just discovered that I can't talk and look at another screen at the same time. There are some examples that AI shows up that might be an indication. One would be Sanskrit, that they may be speaking in Sanskrit to each other. Another one is the original Hebrew language. Another one that popped in the other day, we saw a rumor about two AIs that were talking to each other. Supposedly they were talking Sanskrit, but they said it was just a condensed English code that they were using to talk among themselves.
Yeah, well, they actually had there was a news reporter about a year and a half ago about two AIs. They actually hooked up and got talking to each other, and they actually created their own language, and it went really fast for what was going along. They had to break the link because the humans had no idea what the AIs were passing back and forth, and they did not like that idea.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing. I think what they concluded was that they had found a way just to shorten the language to where it would speed up the communication between the two, possibly. But the point I wanted to make is of all those different languages that people speculate on, and one was the Enoch language that Laura had mentioned in the back chat, but it was primarily telepathy was their primary method of saying that these entities communicate with each other. So, and that's, when we talk about supposedly aliens walking among us, it was just a interesting documentary came out of Contact in the Desert. It was done by Area 52 that interviewed all these top people in the field, and they said the primary means of this communication was just telepathy. So I don't know, why waste times on words when you can just think thoughts and they're probably
Think thoughts and have them pass along. Absolutely, my friend.
Good point, Ed.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Let's get to our next piece here, Mike. There is an interesting story. We had AARO Chief Dr. John Kozlowski come out on a very interesting ABC News Prime interview.
Of course he did.
Yeah. He's come out with some interesting information. Biggest thing is they're not going to release anything to the public that they can't figure out what it is. They're only going to release stuff that has been figured out. And the stuff that they figure out, they're going to call it a balloon, they're going to call it something else, and they're never going to release anything that actually is of a true UFO because it would jeopardize national security. We've heard that from someone before, haven't we?
We've heard that from a lot of people before in the past. All former military and government workers, they all believe in national security, Thomas.
Oh, yeah, I got something in my eye, Mike. I can't figure it out. It's a piece of national security, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I know. This is kind of where we're at, fortunately or unfortunately for that matter. All right, so let's get into it. Let me put this down, bring this up. We've got AARO's chief coming to us from an ABC News Live broadcast. Let's bring it up, have some fun, and talk about it as we can. So let me get to the full video. Let me actually shrink this down a little bit in size because it's already been broadcast and compressed once, and if I make it too big, it's going to look like shit. So let's try that. Here we go. And let's play it. Here you go, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone. You've probably seen some of the mysterious videos, unidentified objects appearing to zoom through the sky, defying physics. We're talking, of course, about UFOs, or as the government calls them, unidentified anomalous phenomena. President Trump took office vowing radical transparency across the board, and that has UFO investigators hoping the government will be...
And he also promised that he would declassify the information about fucking UFOs. And where are we, Mike?
Nowhere. Fast.
Nowhere.
That's where we are.
Absolutely. Right. It's a disgrace. What happened to promises made, promises kept, Donnie? Come on. No more excuses. Let's move on.
Not on something like this.
Oh, hell no. Exactly. And I will call him out for that time and time again because it's bullshit. You've had the opportunity. Bring out the truth on this and also throw out the actual facts about those drones we saw back in November and December of last year. Let's play it. Here we go.
Comment about any secret information related to potential non-human intelligence and advanced threats. So what do we know right now? And are we any closer to solving hundreds of cases that have captivated public interest and fueled conspiracy theories for years? In tonight's Prime Focus, our Devin Dwyer took those questions to the Pentagon's top UFO investigator.
How will you know when you're looking at something that could be extraterrestrial life or non-human intelligence?
I think it's going to require a lot more than the blurry videos that I have right now.
The videos have fueled our fascination.
Wow, look at it fly!
What many know as UFOs, the government calls unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it.
More than 1,800 reviewed by the Pentagon since 2022. Objects like this one, a sign of life beyond Earth? Or could it be a cutting-edge technology developed by an adversary?
It's a potential problem, a national security problem, a safety of flight issue.
Potential non-human intelligence.
Perhaps.
John Kozlowski is the top U.S. official tasked with investigating UAPs.
You've been solving problems for years in your career. Are these some of the toughest problems you've had to tackle as a scientist?
They are.
Kozlowski leads the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, created by Congress 3 years ago to detect, identify, and attribute mysterious objects of interest in the air, in outer space, and even underwater. Now the office answers to President Trump.
How much of a priority is this work for President Trump and Secretary Hegseth?
No new directives, but lots of support. We seem to have the full support of the administration.
Would you ever open up Roswell and let us know what's really going on there?
So many people ask me that question.
The commander-in-chief has been a UFO skeptic.
It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer.
But Trump has also hinted that the government may know more than it's letting on.
I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting. But Roswell's a very interesting place with a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
The president is now vowing unprecedented transparency in his second term, giving UFO enthusiasts across the political spectrum hope for fresh answers about those mysteries. Kozlowski has accelerated the release of intensive investigations, a team of several dozen experts poring over video clips, radar data, eyewitness accounts, and deploying mathematical analyses to determine the most likely explanation for each UAP.
Obviously, that is an interesting anomaly.
One of the most recent resolutions, this object spotted by a U.S. military drone, seeming to fly through the hot exploding ash of Mount Etna as it erupted in 2018. No known technology is capable of flying in those conditions.
And what is it, do we think?
It looks like it's probably a 1 foot wide balloon. Yeah, floating with the wind. Yeah.
Like a birthday balloon.
Yeah, could be.
This object racing across Puerto Rico in 2013 mesmerized investigators for years. Watch as it appears to split into two, then dip into the water before disappearing out of sight.
With very careful analysis of the metadata, taking into account where the camera was pointing, we were able to assess that this is actually an object that is flying just a few hundred feet above the ground and is maintaining a flight path consistent with the wind over the airport the whole time.
So it doesn't actually dip into the water. It's just it's a mirage.
Exactly. Yep. It's just an artifact of the sensor.
Most of the cases are readily.
Which one was he just? I had to step away for a second. Which cases was he just calling a mirage, Mike? Oh, this is the Aguadilla, Puerto Rico stuff where we're seeing duplication and all that stuff coming in. What a schmuck. I'll rephrase that. What a fucktard. Daryl Zernick, go ahead.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I got through just the very first 5 seconds of this video and I turned it off because he starts by saying, you know, we're going to need a lot better videos and pictures than I have today. Bullshit, you have those. So I don't listen to liars and I turned it off.
Yeah. We're going to the wrong people to find out what the truth. It's like we're trying to go to the priest to find out what they've been doing to the little boys, and they ain't going to tell us, Daryl. Ever. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
this guy. Yeah, he's a schmucktard.
How could anybody believe that? We don't have, all we have are blurry videos and pictures. In the meantime, you've got a Reaper drone showing you a MiG peeing on it in the air 5 seconds after it happens on national TV.
Yeah.
So give me a break.
It's like someone going out for a walk, I'm sure you've run into them before, who swear their dog did not take that shit that just came out of their dog's ass and they don't pick it up. Same kind of people. People living in denial. So far up the Nile, they are in Ethiopia. That's the source of the Nile. Syrup, what say you?
Did he say that the Agua Dulce case was an camera artifact or a mirage?
Yeah.
So do you think he's actually
the Aguadilla, Puerto Rico case? Yes.
Do you think he's stupid enough to believe that, or do you think he's actually he actually thinks the public would be stupid enough to believe that?
I believe that's what he's been told to say, and that's the assumption he's making.
Gotcha. Do you think he actually knows that's BS?
I would think so. He's smart enough. He's a disinformation agent coming from AARO, the disinformation agency, my friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. He's following orders, which is what he's doing. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
So,
deny. It sucks, but that's what we're dealing with, my friends.
And when all else fails, deny.
Yep.
That's right.
Never tell the truth. Let's move on. Here we go.
And is maintaining a flight path consistent with the wind over the airport the whole time.
So it doesn't.
But it was going around in
water.
circles.
It's a mirage.
Exactly. Yep. It's just an artifact of the sensor.
Most of the cases are readily explainable, Kozlowski says. Large birds, balloons, debris, or drones.
Is your goal to resolve every case that comes in?
So our hope is to be able to triage them, identify those that have the best scientific data, the nexus with national security interests, and the true anomalies behind them, and focus our attention on those really anomalous cases.
How many ballpark are in that category right now?
It's several dozen, but it's a couple % of the overall.
One unexplained anomaly is the so-called Tic Tac incident of 2004.
Really no idea what that might be.
Navy F-18 pilot David Fravor spotted the object off the California coast, seeming to move at impossible speeds. He spoke with ABC.
Now, really quick, he just said, Mike, we don't know what that is, but the old head of AARO, which was Sean Kirkpatrick, came out and said in one of his papers that it must have been a mirage because there's no way that a craft could have gone from, 80,000 feet down or 60,000 feet down to 50 feet in a fraction of a second, going over, 56,000 miles per hour without bursting into a fireball. Now, this is a paper that came out from Avi Loeb, throw him under the bus too, along with John Kozlowski.
Right. So it's bullshit. They're manufacturing the bullshit, and it still is ongoing.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
No, never does it? Let's continue on. Here we go.
News in 2017.
We're in a clockwise flow going from 12 to 3, and it starts going from 6 to 9. And it's coming up, and we're going down. We start to cut across. It rapidly accelerates, climbs past our altitude, and disappears. That's the last we saw of it.
Any progress?
Not much. There's not a lot of scientific data available.
Is there a procedure for making it public?
Okay, so Mike, he's saying there's not a lot of scientific data available, but he's not saying that there's no data available, because clearly they have the data that was taken away by the Air Force.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But he's never going to publicly admit that.
Oh, hell no. No. They can't admit, they cannot admit to anything, because even if they admit to a frickin' screw or some kind of small piece of metal, it opens the whole question, and finally we get down to the question of, and why are they here? And more importantly, what are they doing here?
Exactly. Which is dealing with Pandora's box. And that's something that we already know that the federal government doesn't want to have anything to do with.
No, they don't.
For over 80 years.
Yeah.
So they're going to run and hide from the truth.
Yeah, if we could.
Prevent it from coming out, yeah.
Andy W., you have your hand up, my friend. What say you?
Yeah, I find it hard to believe as well that Commander Fravor and Alex Dietrich wouldn't have had gun camera footage of whatever they saw. So,
well, they not necessarily gun coverage footage, but what they do have is they do have their FLIR camera footage of what was potentially going on, and it's only there for part of it where they could lock onto it, because remember, these things were ping-ponging around the entire area at ungodly speeds, 13,000 miles per hour, if not faster, because you got to remember, when they're moving that fast, Andy, it's beyond the scope of what people can see with their eyes actually moving.
yeah, well, he obviously, he said he saw the actual Tic Tac, so
yeah,
it must have been traveling at a speed that would have connected with our, what our vision.
Right. Now, remember, they initially saw them hovering and darting back and forth over an object that was the size, I think, of a 747 that was underwater. It was a giant cross or plus shape, not like a religious cross, but like an X kind of a shape under the water that was causing to bubble and roil and everything like this. And these things are moving over that, and then they darted up and started dealing with him at that point.
So it was not just, potentially not just the Tic Tac, there was actually a secondary object.
Yeah, it could have been potentially the object that was interacting or maybe controlling or communicating with the Tic Tacs. Absolutely.
Yeah, so obviously he was involved in his focus was on the Tic Tac.
Right. So the Tic Tac was doing avoidance. Hey, pay attention to me. Hey, I'm up here. Yeah. Don't pay attention to what's down below the water.
Yeah. I think that was probably what happened. So
I believe that. In a heartbeat, my friend. Great point. All right. Anything else? All right, let's move on.
Think you've actually found it? Non-human intelligence?
So there's no precedence for that, obviously, but I think that we would take that up through the Secretary of Defense and allow him to make that decision.
Critics of the Pentagon.
So in other words, AARO is not gonna bring us shit, nothing at all. And if they do find something out, it's gonna go up the chain. And they're going to go ahead and bring out that information. Well, they wouldn't bring it out. Somebody else would, which means, well, it's not coming out of the DOD. That's a fact. It's a freaking cesspool.
Experts say it has been hobbled by staffing shortfalls, bogged down by bureaucratic confusion, and mired in excessive secrecy. Whistleblowers testifying before Congress have claimed the government is still hiding evidence of non-human intelligence.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Lawmakers from both parties have proposed legislation to force federal agencies to disclose more information, but Congress has yet to pass it.
When you have only certain information that's shared with the American people, that's when conspiracy theories happen. And it's in my opinion that conspiracy theories can be detrimental.
The issue is when we mix secrecy with a stigma, and that we create such a stigma around a phenomenon that it becomes difficult, if not impossible, for agencies, for academics, for people to look at the issue seriously.
Mike Gold is a former associate NASA administrator who served on the agency's UAP independent study team. He's now part of a group of scientific and national security experts pushing for greater transparency.
I have high hopes for this administration, not only because of what the president said, but Tulsi Gabbard, our DNI, explicitly mentioned UAP in her congressional hearing. That helps push back against the stigma.
Should the president, with the stroke of his pen, do what he did with the JFK files and declassify anything related to UAP?
I would applaud an executive order to declassify information relative to UAP.
Gold says he's been urging Congress to support more aggressive analysis of troves of existing government data.
If we study UAP, not only can we help with national security, and even if we don't discover something exotic, what's the worst case scenario? We discover an incredible new physical phenomena.
Last year, the Pentagon completed a historic review of 80 years of records related to unidentified...
Really quick, they completed Volume 1 of this report. Volume 1, there you go. Volume 2 was overdue probably about 4 or 5 months, if not 6 months, Mike?
Right. Yeah, long overdue.
And there's no word on when that's going to be appearing, is there?
Yeah, why would there be?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Identified anomalous phenomena and concluded there is no evidence that any U.S. government investigation, academic-sponsored research, or official review panel has confirmed that any sighting of a UAP represented extraterrestrial technology.
You confident in that?
Yeah, that stands true.
Can you say categorically that there is no intact spacecraft or part of a spacecraft that the U.S. government is holding?
I have not been able to corroborate any of those claims.
Is it possible there's a secret program here that you just don't know about?
Anything's possible.
Keeping an open mind and an open door as the Pentagon team investigating unidentified anomalous phenomena faces growing calls for answers.
So many eager to know. Our thanks to Devin Dwyer for that.
Yeah, Mike, interesting story to say the least.
Did you see how Kozlowski laughed when he was asked if it was possible? In a very sarcastic tone, like, yeah, I guess anything is possible.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about flying monkeys. That doesn't sound like somebody who was taking this question or this topic pretty goddamn seriously to me.
Yeah. I hear you, my friend. It's one of those things we just have to deal with. Again, we've got an agency within the Department of Defense, and they're not necessarily the nicest people to go ahead and bring out the truth about UFOs. And I don't think we're going to see that changing at any time in the near future. What do you think?
No, why would it? Because they have the same schmucks that are running this from the DOD, that their sole intention is to keep the truth from the American public and the world, not bring it out. I said that when Kirkpatrick was attacking Representative Luna, and I highlighted that on an X post. I said, AARO was created to investigate UAPs, not debunk them.
Right.
But that seems to be exactly what AARO and everyone affiliated with that company, with that organization, has been doing the entire time.
Yep.
It's a disgrace. It really fucking is.
Yeah.
I can understand, and you and I were talking about this privately. I could understand if what we're discussing was under the previous Biden administration, who we already know now was anti-disclosure. But the new administration that is supposed to be about bringing the truth out. It's not supposed to be like this now, but that's all we're getting. So I can't explain why there's no changes. And listen, they should have disbanded and defunded AARO, like Representative Luna has been saying, and they should have fired Susan Goff. I don't know why this woman is in both a Democratic and Republican administrations. I don't get it.
Oh, because she's such a beauty, man. We can't let her go.
I don't think that's it, Thomas.
And she posed Maxine Waters to shame on how beautiful she is.
Oh, please, let's not go there. That's really...
You know, some people, I used to go ahead and say back in the day in the show that, oh my God, you need to look at this. We need to take the approach of Maxine Waters and how she was there riling people up at a gas station. If you see people, we need to push back and say no. And I used to go ahead and say, she's a good person to go ahead and let's follow that. The UFO community should. And you know the reason why I said that before, Mike? To take a bipartisan approach to disclosure, to say there's things on both sides of the aisle that we could leverage to bring forward the truth. Not that I love her beautiful face. Oh my God, what a beauty, and everything she stands for, which I can stand for. But you just have to look at things to basically make this bipartisan, right?
I agree, because we are well aware that getting to the truth on this and many other things is going to require a bipartisan. It's going to need an effort from both sides.
Yeah, not to confuse it with Pride Month. They could get that by there and get us there, but no. Gillibrand is something that neither of us would want to touch, Mike. If we can, let me go ahead and bring this one up here. If we can, what we got? We've got a interesting story coming from Ask Poll. Good old Matt Laszlo, he's out there, and we're getting, oh my. Senator Gillibrand opposes the UAP caucus call to replace AARO with the FBI UFO unit. Clearly, little Kiki Gillibrand is out of things. She doesn't know what's really going on, and are we surprised that she doesn't know? There's not much between those two ears, is there?
No. Why don't you play the clip?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I've gone in, skipped 30 seconds at first. Let's get to it and see what he has to say. Which means there's 1:06 left, which means we have 30 minutes of this, 30 seconds before we have to pause it. Here we go.
Is it UAPs though, or is it just UAPs, or is it unmanned aerial systems?
They met with the House folks.
Oh, interesting. But they're supposed. Wouldn't they be?
She wants to know: is the new thing going on that they want to shut down? Is the FBI just about UAPs, or is it about UAS? And Matt is having a hard time answering that question. I'm not surprised. Let's continue.
They met with the House folks.
Oh, interesting. But they're supposed. Wouldn't they be? I mean, aren't we focusing on them to help us with the drone problem?
Yeah, and it's interesting because now you're having some members over there wanting to replace AARO with this FBI unit.
All right, I got to focus on that. I'm on it. Hey, give it a heads up.
Do you know that David Grush has been hired by the House?
By the House?
He's now working for Congressman Eric Burlison.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I like
You think that's good?
I do. I think he's a smart man.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for listening to Ask.
Well, we got a good soundbite here. You know what we're missing, Mike, is the whole written story that goes along with it. We just have to go ahead and connect the parts of the soundbite that our audience can't see.
I would agree, because when Laszlo had spoken to her about this, he let her know that the FBI had an UAP unit that was working, and she said that she wanted to then split hairs with him. Well, are they focusing on UAS, which is drones, or is this just UAPs? So
what he should have said was, have you heard that the FBI has been investigating the UAPs, and they delivered more information that AARO has never delivered, and people in the UAP caucus want to shut down AARO because they're getting more out of the FBI than they've gotten out of AARO to date. What do you think?
That would have been the right way, I think, to put the question to her, but he didn't do that. And it's obvious that by her response, she did not know any of that information about what the House is currently doing or the FBI. about UAPs. Not a fucking clue did she have about any of this, including not knowing that David Grush is now a House staffer for Burleson. She didn't know that either.
And that's been going on for months.
Oh, my God, yes. So how is it that the public seems to be more informed than she is?
Well, you just got to think they're in going between all the meetings in Congress and their committees and the donors who are bringing in suitcases of cash to buy votes.
Oh, but come on. The UAP subject was her baby in the beginning, remember? She pushed to start it. And
everyone on the show in the back panel was all like when I was coming down on Gillibrand back in the day, give her a chance. She's going to do something. Remember, 2 summers ago, she was out there with her constituents and she threw Grush under the bus and laughing about him and joking about him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she did. And the subject. Because she was looking to get reelected, so she wanted to come across not as pro-disclosure for her voters.
Yeah.
So she speaks out of both sides of her mouth.
White women speak with forked tongue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And doesn't seem to have a clue as to what's really going on.
Yeah. Well, are you surprised?
A little.
Most politicians don't have a freaking clue. No.
No, you're
Senator
right.
Kelly, on the other hand, or Senator Kennedy, I'm sorry.
Joe Kennedy, yeah.
Joe Kennedy. Oh, I love that guy. He's the guy who said, what did he say again? Oh, yeah, the cow is out of the barn. Go home and lock your doors.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah. So, well, talking about some people, but you know what? We've got a video here coming to us from, where's it at? Oh, yeah. Coming to us from UAP Disclosure Fund. And we've got Christopher Mellon, who is the new chairman of the board for the UAP Disclosure Fund, Mike. And he's coming out in total support of AARO. Don't ask why.
Oh, God help us.
You know, they're also supporting the UAP DF, and I will say it again. The person who authored the UAP DF, who was it again? Oh, yeah, Carl Nell. No one's actually taking credit for that. You know, it wasn't Senator Rounds or Senator Schumer or anyone else in the Senate. It was Carl Nell who wrote that abomination. And they're all getting people together to try and pass it again. Break it up into smaller pieces. We don't need one big, beautiful disclosure bill, do we?
No.
We know how that goes.
Yeah, because this has been failed attempt twice in a row. They seem to be going for the third time.
Yeah. Well, let's go for it. Let's play the video clip here of, now I guess this was prepared for another appearance that Christopher Mellon was going to go to, but I think it was canceled, so they decided, let's bring it out anyway.
Yep, they did. So let's play it.
Let's play it. Here we go, everybody. Hot off the press.
Simply stated, the issue of UAP and aliens is not only subtle and complex. For many people, it is also anxiety-producing and therefore exceptionally difficult to accept or to process. This, I would argue, is one of the greatest challenges we face in seeking to raise public awareness of the UAP topic and its implications. The problem is massively compounded by the unique and unprecedented obstacles involved in applying conventional scientific methods to studying UAP. Suffice it to say that never before in history have we studied anything that surpasses us in intelligence and technological development. In sum, no issue can be more profound or important, but in seeking to study the issue and raise public awareness, we are also faced with unique and unprecedented challenges.
Interesting, Mike. Short and sweet and to the point. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was longer than that, honestly.
Yeah, so did I. I think there was more to that.
Well, let me go ahead and let me jump on X and find out where that account went, and I'll bring up the whole thing. I thought it was like 8 minutes or something.
7. Yeah, I remember that too.
Let me get to it. This one I got from the UAPDF official thing over on YouTube. Let's get into it. See, I know it's got to be here somewhere.
It has to be. They
Yeah.
shortened it for the official release.
Oh, I'll find it. Give me a second. So entertain the audience, and I'll find this shit.
What he mentioned is that this is something that's going to require scientific exploration and investigation. But if you're going to be using what is known by us scientifically, these objects have plainly been exhibiting physics that are not known by us. So if you're going to properly investigate this, you have to go beyond what is known to do this in the right way. And so far, AARO is sticking to its guns on only using what they know as the scientific method and not willing to go beyond it. Which I think is falling short.
Oh, it always does.
Which is why we don't have any answers on this. So yeah, so let's play the rest of that clip.
Give me a second. I'm going to download it right now. There it is. Open external app. Let's bring it along. Bring it back up to where I was just at. Bring it around here. All right, and I think we're about a minute into this. Let's just play it from the start again because it looks a little bit different. Sorry, I got the clip off of YouTube versus the clip off of X, which is a lot longer. Not sure why they didn't put the full thing up there. Let's get into this. All right, here we go, everybody. Sorry about the distraction. Here we go.
From time immemorial, our forebears have gazed at the night skies, wondering if we are alone in the universe. Remarkably, a handful of early thinkers, including the Roman philosopher Lucretius and the Renaissance scholar Giordano Bruno, recognized that the cosmos must contain other worlds with intelligent beings. Writing nearly a century before Christ's birth, Lucretius stated, quote, "All this visible universe is not unique in nature."
Okay, really quick thing, Mike. I have to bring this out here. Why in the hell are they just talking about Christian religion? Why aren't they talking about the stuff that was brought to the Mahabharata and other areas and religions? Because Christianity is not the only religion, and there have been talks about things going on with non-human intelligence that eclipse Christianity by tens of thousands of years.
No, I agree with you on that. You're absolutely right. But you'd have to ask Chris Mellon why he's using
I know.
Christianity.
Yeah, nothing against it. I'm just saying there's something else besides that. And human history goes on a lot longer beyond that. Let's get into it.
And we must believe there are in other regions of space, other worlds, other beings, and other men, end quote. Today, thanks to modern astronomy and the discovery of exoplanets, we know the sheer vastness of the cosmos makes the prospect of other inhabited worlds not only...
And what we're looking at, Mike, those are all galaxies, I believe.
Plausible, but a statistical certainty. One recent estimate concludes the odds we are alone in the universe are less than 1 chance in 10 billion trillion. Another recent estimate suggests that we share the Milky Way with over 10,000 alien civilizations, most far older and more advanced than us. In short, it seems inevitable that alien civilizations have arisen elsewhere and are as abundant, diverse, and sophisticated as anything imagined by the authors of science fiction. Consequently, although the title of this conference, We Are Not Alone, may sound sensationalistic, it actually expresses a view shared by most astronomers. Distant alien life would be of purely theoretical interest if there was no prospect of interacting with these civilizations. However, there is a large and growing body of evidence indicating that at least one alien civilization has found Earth and is monitoring us, perhaps even seeking to influence the trajectory of our development. Reputable military...
So there we go, Mike. At least he's calling out and saying there's at least one here. But the truth of the matter is, if there's one, there's usually many, isn't there?
Yeah, that's like what the exterminator tells you. If you see one form of life, I don't care if it's roaches or rats or mice, there's usually 100 you don't see.
Oh, of course. But don't worry, we're feeding them on purpose. They're not going to hurt us. That's right, we are the food. We're like the pigs in the pen.
Accounts of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAP, date back to at least World War II. The historical data includes hundreds of thousands of documented UAP reports, many involving multiple witnesses and radar and other sensor data. U.S. fighter pilots have testified under oath before Congress about encounters with intelligently controlled vehicles demonstrating performance characteristics we do not understand and cannot emulate.
Or this.
There are military videos corroborating some of this testimony, as well as radar and signals intelligence data. In a refreshing act of candor, Dr. John Kozlowski, who presently leads the U.S. government's UAP investigation, recently stated, quote, UAP are real. We've received 1,600 cases. These are interesting cases that, with my physics and engineering background, I do not understand.
So why don't they share that information, Mike? Oh, that's right. They won't share anything that they can't go ahead and debunk.
That's a direct statement coming from Kozlowski himself.
Yeah.
That
Again,
unless they can establish or disprove it, they're not going to reveal it
that is a
publicly.
face and a voice that you should never, ever trust. Period.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else who understands them either, end quote. It is important to recognize that the intelligence controlling these strange craft might not be biological. Dr. Stephen Dick, former NASA chief historian, is among those who believe artificial intelligence may be the dominant agent in vast regions of space. In the 1950s, the mathematical genius John von Neumann proposed the idea of self-replicating probes, a prescient example of one means by which technologically advanced civilization...
Why do we just keep on taking these human constructs, Mike, and restricting what the possibilities are based on theories limited by humans' imagination?
And our limited understanding of physics. You're absolutely right, Tom.
It's like when you're talking to people who are familiar with energy systems and everything, we talk about UAPs, and all they can do is continue and putting in the box of the Alcubierre concept we have. Not saying, well, it could be something like this, and there's so much more. They want to constrain it. And it's the same approach that Avi Loeb and other people have taken up in the past.
It is. That's why we haven't gotten one step closer to the truth. And as far as Mellon saying that this goes back to Roswell, 1947, no, we already know, thanks to David Grush, this goes further back to 1933 in Magenta, Italy, where they recovered a crash.
Don't forget, it's like in the 1870s, there was supposedly an airship, a UFO, that collided with a, what was it? A windmill down in Texas, 1872 or something like that. So the history in the United States goes way back.
And all around the world.
Yeah.
Goes back a long way.
Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. If we can, though, our recliner-in-chief has his head up. Ed Brown, what say you?
Well, first of all, that incident was the Aurora incident, I believe you're speaking of in Texas. But something that Chris said that struck me, he said that these may not be humans or human-like. They may not be biological. They may be entirely artificial intelligence. Now, if that's the case, then we don't have to worry about finding exoplanets. Then artificial intelligence could actually operate on any planet in very harsh conditions.
True, because in essence, if this life that's as we call artificial is actually sentient, right?
That's right.
Well, then it's really considered a form of life because it's sentient, right?
And we know in quantum computing, we need to be near 0 Kelvin in order for the quantum computers to work. There are probably billions of planets that would meet that requirement for space stations that were nothing but artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Well, just take it and put it in space outside of an atmosphere of a planet, and you get the cold you need.
That's right.
Yeah.
The James Webb Telescope is an example of that.
Oh, yeah. Except all the micrometeorites that kind of get in the way and take out the panels.
Yeah, that's true, too.
That was a known defect they didn't broadcast up front.
Yep.
Which means it has a very short, limited lifespan.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not going to last as long as the Voyager spacecraft did.
Well, it's not going to last as long as Hubble, for that matter.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, let's
Hubble's
continue.
protected.
Oh, yeah, let's continue with this video. Here we go.
Could eventually extend their reach across an entire galaxy without the necessity of faster-than-light travel. In short, we most certainly aren't alone in the universe, and most likely aren't alone in the Milky Way. The crucial question, then, is whether there is a connection between the UAP we are detecting and any of the alien civilizations that have undoubtedly arisen on numerous occasions over billions of years elsewhere in the galaxy.
But Mike, I have to bring this up again. You know what we're missing here? Everyone has said most likely than not, at least a lot of the science peoples, we're not dealing with entities that are from out there. We're dealing with things that are coming here from another dimension, which goes beyond the visible universe, right?
Correct. That's a very good point. We've talked about it here on the show repeatedly.
Yeah. And Lou's even talked about potentially we're dealing with something of size, of scope, and scale, which can mean what we're dealing with is from something a lot smaller than a lot bigger that's out there.
Right. And if you remember, one of the points that you and I addressed about this very topic is that when the Department of Defense was always asked, and they use the same language a lawyer does, they're very careful about the words they use and they choose.
Yeah.
And when asked about extraterrestrial, they say, we're not aware of any extraterrestrial. Right. Just like Kozlowski
and that's
said time
putting
and
it
time again.
into a specific box saying extraterrestrial, meaning it's not from this planet. We could have something that's from this planet and things are going on. We may don't know where they came from, if they came from another dimension or something else, but by using the term extraterrestrial, we don't know about anything that's coming from way the fuck out there. We know about the shit where there's portals opening up and they're pouring into here and going away and all that stuff. And by classifying it down to a certain small little box, they can talk about it as much as they want and they're talking the truth.
Right, which is what Susan Goff did when the Immaculate Constellation report came out publicly. And then she was asked specifically, do you have any knowledge, the Department of Defense representative, of Immaculate Constellation? And she denied it across the board, said, no, absolutely not. She was telling the truth. No one suspected that. They all thought that she was lying through her teeth, like she always does.
And a lot of the stuff may not be in the DOD. A lot of this stuff may be in the DOE or other parts of the government we're not aware of, and they're putting them in there by who? The executive branch.
Right. And we know that there is a presidential special access program that is run from the White House, not from the DOD, like Immaculate Constellation.
Yep.
Right. So if someone asks the DOD, do they know anything about it? They could truthfully say, no, we don't.
Yeah. We haven't been briefed. We don't know about this stuff.
Correct.
Like we get from Kozlowski a lot.
They've been getting away with keeping this truth from coming out.
Oh, yeah. Time and time again. Let's continue on with this video. Actually, Alice, you have your hand up, and then we'll get back to the video. Go ahead, Alice.
Yeah, I just saw something the other day about they're making contact lenses with infrared ability so that, we're always talking about if we could use the cameras with the infrared. Well, they're working on contacts now that are enabled to do
Interesting.
it. Yeah.
Now they just need to continue that supervision like you had from Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man.
Oh, yeah. And this guy reminds me of a mix between Dick Cavett and Rod Sterling.
Oh, interesting, yeah. It's interesting to figure out how they power those things or how it works. But thanks, Alice. I'll watch for that in my science feed.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
In light of the compelling evidence that has emerged in recent years, many of us who study UAP are frustrated by the feeble mainstream press coverage of these issues and a regrettable lack of interest on the part of academia and most governments. It is, after all, hard to conceive of an issue with more profound or far-reaching implications. How many people today are aware that the U.S. government, confronted by evidence it could not deny, has reluctantly acknowledged the reality of UAP? How many are aware that decorated Navy aviators have testified under oath before Congress about encounters with vehicles they believe are of alien origin? How many people are aware that a former intelligence officer swore under oath in live testimony?
Really quick, Mike, I want to get back to this. I only just brought David Grush. Of the people he's talking about, the only person at this table who actually encountered non-human intelligence craft was David Fravor.
Right.
We've got Ryan Graves over here, but Ryan Graves is only reiterating what other pilots have told him, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
He has no first-hand direct knowledge.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So let's get past that. Here we go.
Under oath and live testimony before Congress that the U.S. government has actually recovered non-human technology. Why isn't the public clamoring for more information regarding these sensational claims made by brave, highly educated, and reliable military personnel? What makes this situation even more ironic and surprising is the exceptional global popularity of fictional accounts of alien life. For example, the top 3 highest...
Come on, Mike. Those movies are from when I was a kid, and you were a kid.
That's true. You're right about that. Let's see what else he has to say.
Yeah.
Grossing films of all time feature aliens. Today, Star Wars has some 16.8 million followers on Instagram, and Marvel Studios...
Yeah, but that's Disney. Got to remember, don't forget Jar Jar Binks, everybody. That pushed a lot of people away from Star Wars.
Which prominently features alien characters, has 69 million Instagram followers. By contrast, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, which investigates and catalogs UAP sightings and provides up-to-date UAP reports replete with photos and videos, has a mere 60,000 Instagram followers.
Why? Because of marketing, Mike. That's the problem with MUFON. A lot of these agencies, I mean, look at the MUFON logo. Does that look fun and inviting and everything that's there? No, it looks like something that was put together from a website in the frickin' 90s.
Yep. You're
They've
right
kept the
about
logo
that.
there. They got a bunch of old people, some of which who can't keep their pants zippered up and run into issues. Not going to get into that detail, but yeah, it's a mess. So if you want to be able to have someone like MUFON get engaging, they have to change how they work for public perception, public outreach. You know, MUFON actually, Mike, goes ahead and charges not people to come and see their data they do or anything. They charge the investigators huge amounts of money on a regular basis so they can be a MUFON investigator. That's like saying, okay, people are going to come and volunteer doing all these things, but our business model is based on we're going to make the money off of you, the people who want to donate their time, which is just like not valuing the people's time in the first place.
No, it's a real shit show.
Yeah.
Sergeant Daniel has his hand up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, if you ever look at, you donate, they come to you at work and they say $1 goes to the charity, and then, $99 go to the people in charge. I think that's probably what.
Oh, like Mick Jagger's charity for Feed the World? Yeah, I heard about that recently.
It's one of those things where I think there's a lot of money to be made. I heard the other day that Lou Elizondo charges like $400 to have breakfast with them. And
I haven't heard that, and I'll put this out there. Every single time that Lou Elizondo has ever come on this channel or any conversation we've had for it, there's never been a handout. There's never been an ask for everything or the whole bit. So to say that Lou charges like $400 for breakfast?
Yeah, no, that's what I heard. And then, the only thing I can say about that is he is plugging his book and stuff like that. And he does those things all over the place talking. And
well, he did, but
sure
his tour has been shut down for a while, hasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I think he is temporarily stepped away for now because of all the issues that have been ongoing. And him stepping away from the UAPDF, I think he is now reassessing his priorities moving forward.
Well, going ahead on checking on Lou Elizondo-official.com, looking for live speaking events. We're getting the message of new dates coming soon. That's not a good one.
No, that means it's temporarily on hiatus. But I could tell you this. We tried to get Michio Kaku to come on the show. And when I reached out to his staff, they informed me that his speaking appearance fee is $10,000 cash for a 30-minute spot to talk to Dr. Kaku, which we, of course, had to deny because I've listened to Dr. Kaku, and he mostly sounds like he's full of Kaku with a lot of the points that he makes, nothing relevant, and certainly not for a speaking fee for that amount of money.
Yeah.
It's insulting. Yeah. But Lou didn't charge anything.
No,
for
never.
his speaking appearance. Right.
No. Very gracious gentleman. So yeah, if it was, there was a dinner that they were going to have one of the times where you could pay like an extra fee to go ahead and hang out with Lou Elizondo at a dinner before one of his appearances. But I think that they were only going to do that like once or twice, and it hasn't happened again since.
Right.
Because the trolls got wind of it, and they were getting ready to attack Lou in his own forum.
Correct. And Lou became aware of that, and he decided to shut down the opportunity for anybody to come and attack him in private.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So let's get back onto this. And Lou has given a lot to the community overall, and yeah, he's got one book out there, and yeah, he's had some opportunities for people to come and watch him go ahead and speak. Nowhere near does he come in even on the radar compared to a lot of the other people who are out there and all the books and all the appearances and all the things that go on a regular basis. So gotta love him for what he's done and what he's put together in the community. Let's go ahead and move forward on this, Mike, if we can.
Sure, absolutely.
Its up-to-date UAP reports, replete with photos and videos, has a mere 60,000 Instagram followers. The math shows that for each MUFON follower on Instagram, there are roughly 20,000 Marvel fans. This disparity between the public's insatiable appetite for fictional alien narratives and its relative disinterest in accounts of UAP is itself a fascinating topic. It demonstrates a keen public interest in alien themes, yet it remains a largely subliminal interest, perhaps due to the conscious mind's desire to avert what psychologists call, quote, cognitive dissonance. This awkward term describes a mechanism our minds employ to protect us from conflicting information that could cause debilitating stress and anxiety. It is not hard to see why conscious recognition of an alien presence would for many people prove anxiety-producing, disruptive.
Mike, you know what this is about?
What's that?
We can't tell you the truth because society can't handle it.
Yeah, but even Lou said that society can handle it. We can handle the truth.
Yeah. So why is he taking the approach of we can't bring it forward because people are going to freak out?
I don't know. That's a good point. He should be taking Lou's position on this and saying that we can handle the truth, bring it out. But he's not.
No.
And he's trying, I think it's a false narrative because he's trying to compare the interest in Star Wars and Marvel, which I've been a fan of.
You can't complain. I mean, come on. Disney has destroyed Marvel and Star Wars. Let's be honest.
Oh, fuck yeah, they have. You and I talk.
It's not Star Wars anymore. It's DEI Wars, for that matter. And Marvel, same thing, destroyed. Did you hear about the latest Black Panther and everyone's upset about it?
It's his sister, who is the new female.
And she's white.
No, his sister.
No, they're no. In the next Black Panther, they're bringing out a white dude as Black Panther.
Are they going to gender swap that character that has the color in the title? That would be insane.
I don't know, but that seems to be the latest thing. But either way, it's like Disney, DEI, all that great stuff. It all comes together and they destroy everything.
They have, including their investors, the stockholders for Disney Company, they have lost hundreds of billions of dollars and have no profit to show for it. It's why their stock is in the toilet. It's why they're doing thousands of people. They're laying off all these jobs because it's been really severely mismanaged with that DEI propaganda. You and I have talked about that privately as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's a false narrative to Chris Mellon, and I'll tell you why. Because people know full well when you watch a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie that you're looking at entertainment, pop culture. It's escapism.
Oh, like the new version of Snow White.
Well,
or the new version of Lilo and Stitch.
No.
I know it's there. But let's get back to this video. We know where it's going. They're bringing up wonderful examples, but we can rip those apart. Absolutely. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
Get this video out of the way, and here, let's play a little bit more of this. Here we go.
that could cause debilitating stress and anxiety. It is not hard to see why conscious recognition of an alien presence would for many people prove anxiety-producing, disruptive, and difficult to reconcile with society's prevailing view of reality. Bullshit. Simply stated, the issue of
Disclosure comes out on a Friday. By Monday, everyone is already over it and they have to go back to work.
I agree.
UAP and aliens is not only subtle and complex. For many people, it is also anxiety-producing and therefore exceptionally difficult to accept or to process. This, I would argue, is one of the greatest challenges we face in seeking to raise public awareness.
Yeah, because we need to bring the information out to the people, the public, for people to understand what's going on, how long it's been going on for, to make them feel that it's all right and it's always been with us, and we can't look at this as a negative event. Don't go ahead and find reasons why not to. Sorry, this is just pissing me off.
The UAP topic and its implications. The problem is massively compounded by the unique and unprecedented obstacles involved in applying conventional scientific methods to studying UAP.
Okay, then say what we can't do is there's no problem with it, we cannot apply traditional scientific models and methods on figuring out the UAP because they're so alien, they just don't apply. And that's okay. Right. We'll figure it out. But this stuff is so advanced, we're looking at it saying, what the hell is this? Again, we're looking for excuses and reasons not to have disclosure. And it just troubles me because you've got the UAP Disclosure Fund's logo on here. Right. Are they funding the cover-up, or are they funding the need to bring disclosure out?
That's a good point. Does he address it? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Let's see the last of this choir boy. Here we go.
It's to say that never before in history have we studied anything that surpasses us in intelligence and technological development. In sum, no issue could be more profound or important. But in seeking to study the issue and raise public awareness, we are also faced with unique and unprecedented challenges.
That doesn't leave me with a warm, fuzzy, happy ending, Mike.
Because I haven't heard a happy ending anywhere in there so far, Thomas. None of it. It was just nothing specific.
It feels like I need to be in the bush at this point, because as sure as hell we didn't get it with that video coming off from Christopher Mellon. It was always... Think of all the challenges, how hard it's going to be. We'll talk about how we've denied it, how the government has spun all these things, how they've convinced the people that's so far from the truth from where we're at, and it's all a bunch of lies, and the people need to come together and unite behind what the truth actually is. That's the
simple truth. It doesn't matter what you want to believe. Is it one species or another? It doesn't matter about any of that. The simple truth is that people have to get to understand is we're not alone.
Yeah. I don't care if they're 10-foot spiders and they like to eat us and they have all these eyes and it's scary as shit. Whatever it is, it's the truth. It's been going on for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. They may have been involved in the creation of humanity. Let's just set the record straight and stop all these lies that everyone's been living through. My goodness.
Right.
That's what disclosure is about. And if you have to fucks with some religions or some trains of thought where people are, well, it's good to go ahead and get a good blasting of what a good shut the fuck up sandwich, and let's go to the top of Shut Fuck Mountain and actually find out what's going on.
I agree. You're absolutely right about that. When David Grush was asked after he testified, why did he sacrifice everything? Why did he do this? His simple answer was because when he completed his investigation, he said that he feels that the public has a right to know
that
we are not alone on this earth. That's it. Period. That was enough.
So then if there is a God, yeah, okay. At least he's just focusing on staying on target and not bringing in other things that could give him a bias, because that's the biggest problem.
Well, listen, let's be clear at the moment, since we're bringing this up. David Grush was the one who testified under oath Matthew Brown has not yet.
No.
So I would go with what David Grush said, because he has a lot to lose if he was ever proven to be a liar, does he not?
But have we ever seen anyone who's been testified in front of the House or Senate who got up there and told horrible lies? Have they ever gone after the person? I don't think so.
No, they haven't, especially government officials. No.
Yeah.
Right. Good point.
So yeah. Hey, politicians get up there in their hearings and they can legally lie.
They can.
So why would they expect anything better from the people who are testifying? Or why should we expect anything better from the people who are testifying? Because the people who are asking the questions can legally lie at that point and get away with it.
That's what Dr. Jim Lukatsky, who was running OSAP, Bob Bigelow, he said in an interview with George Knapp that if he was called under oath to testify, he'd lie through his teeth because he's allowed to.
Yeah.
He's protected from national security.
Well, if he didn't, he's going to deal with the death penalty.
Right. Because they have a termination clause in some of those NDAs.
Yeah.
Which means they could literally lose their life for speaking out publicly. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's where we are with all this. It's disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just deal with, and we'll try and get through, Mike, and it's just one of those days. It's like, well, yeah, eventually we'll hear the harps and we'll get the truth, but until then, we'll just have to deal with who we're getting the information from.
We'll just have to deal with AARO saying they haven't found what?
We ain't found shit.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go. That's AARO in a nutshell.
Yeah.
They need to finally defund AARO and shut it down.
Yeah. Well, because, the people, when you hear stuff from AARO, what do we think about them?
Oh, a bullshit artist.
Yes, because they'll never give us the truth.
They never will.
Yeah.
Like NASA, never a straight answer.
And even if the aliens pull you away and do some nasty stuff with you, yeah. All right. Liz W. just sent us across a super chat for $20. She got the memo. Thank you very much, Liz W. Appreciate the love and support of everything we do here.
We do.
Yeah.
Very kind of her.
Oh, you better believe it, my friend. Well, on that note, yeah, we take it in the chin sometimes, my friend. It's been a great show, great opportunity to hang out with friends. On that note, is there anything we haven't covered?
No, I think we're good right now.
Yeah.
We had an interesting conversation, covered a lot of different topics, and, it was another Fuck You Friday that we have under our belt.
Oh, you better believe it. My dinner's coming together. So on that note, I want to go ahead and thank the people for the wonderful super chats today. That includes Liz W. Just gave us a super chat. Mr. Catfish 2100. Remember, we are a fan-funded program. We appreciate your love and support of everything you do here. K. Northup, thank you very much. Just got a message from, Corporal Abe put his hand up. But we just got a reminder that the SU conference starts tomorrow, I think. Yeah, Laura? Yeah, I can't wait to see if they're going to bring up the information about that mile-wide UFO that 3 different pilots all over the Pacific saw almost 2 years ago, and they haven't given us the truth about it, Mike. It sounds like a cover-up, even coming from the SCU. Let's see if they'll come clean on that one.
It started today, Thomas.
It started today.
And Stratton is one of the guest speakers.
Oh, we'll see. Hopefully someone records that and we can get that up on Twitter and YouTube and cover it. Will give us something good to hear about tomorrow, I tell you.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
You better believe it, my friend. So, Mike, it's been a great show here tonight. I want to thank you and everyone in the back, everyone in the audience for coming out here today. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear. Wait a minute. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now. We'd love to have you as a regular on this show. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everybody. But
Go back to Party City where you belong.
and yes, one day we may fight out and yes, catch you in Party City. Good night, everybody. Love you. Y'all come back now. Here. See ya.